My YouTube channel, third episode, growing your own food in your own backyard. I want to talk about this Yukon potato plant that I have been very successful in growing. If you love potatoes and have never tasted a homegrown one, you definitely need to try growing your own potatoes. Now, potatoes are cool season vegetables, and I started my first project in late May. I chose to grow my potato in a plant. I chose to grow my potato plant in a container to make it more accessible. Harvesting is easier because all the tubers in one place. And if you're limited on space to grow in your vegetable bed, it makes sense to grow in a container. You can grow potatoes in garbage can, Tupperware bin, or even a gunny sack or burlap bag, as long as it can hold a good quantity of soil. This pot's about 12 inches tall and 12 inches wide. When I started my first project, I purchased an organic Russell and rib potato. I made sure they had a healthy amount of eyes or buds on each potato. I set the potato in the windowsill to sprout. Once the potatoes develop about 1/4 inch of sprouts on the potato, I cut the potatoes into pieces, made sure each piece had enough eyes on it or buds with sprouts. I laid the pieces out and let them dry for 3 or 4 days. Now, allowing the potato pieces or cuts to dry allows the pieces to callus over or seal over, and it prevents rotting and soil-borne diseases while the pieces sprout can take root. I planted my seed potato in about 4 inches of soil, right about here, with a good amount of organic matter and worm casting. And this soil is really fluffy, and it has a lot of organic matter, compost, and worm casting. In late June, nothing had emerged from the soil. So being disappointed, I dug up the potato seed and they pretty much wilted and died. Although it was July 2nd, I started the project again. This time I selected a Yukon potato. Now, what I did different this time around, I allowed the potatoes to sprout about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer, and instead of cutting the pieces out to air dry, I dusted them with a powder sulfur right after cutting them to further protect the seed potato. About the second week of August, after 2 weeks of rain, my Yukon potato plant started emerging and growing profusely. Because maximum tuber formation occurs when soil temperatures is 60 to 70 degrees, I kept the soil cool by planting the pot in a cooler part of my yard. When my plant reached 6 inches tall, I started drawing soil up around the plant, covering half of the lower stems. This is called hilling. I repeated this process until the soil reached the top rim of my pot. This is an important process because when potatoes are exposed to sunlight, they can turn green, which causes flesh to taste bitter. I have about, and then also keeps the tubers, and keeping the tubers covered prevents it from greening. Now, I've been checking my pH soil, which has been about around 7.0. Because potato plants like it slightly acid, around a pH of 5.8 to 6.5, I've been watering this Yukon potato plant with diluted coffee to bring the pH down just a little. You have a better tubal formation with the correct soil pH. Now, I have about 4 to 6 weeks before harvest time. This plant's going to grow another 6 inches. So it's another 6 to 12 inches. So it's going to be about 2 feet tall. Once this plant starts flowering, this is the indicator that the tubers in the soil are developing. When the stems start turning yellow and flopping over, they will be ready for harvest. So I am going to have another episode on harvesting my potato to determine how well I did. The other thing I want to point out is you can actually grow food from food scraps. This one was grown from an actual organic Yukon potato I purchased at a health food store. But this time around, like I said before, I made sure I had about 3 to about a half to an inch of sprouts on each of the eye of the potato. And I think that helped this time, the second time around. And I hardened it off with sulfur. This particular onion plant is grown from a food scrap. So this is my second time of growing the onion from the food scrap. Now, I have not harvested this onion. I'm a little overdue of harvesting this onion. So I'm going to go ahead and dig this one up and see what happens. And as you can see, I've got a green onion. And I got a pretty good, healthy green onion. So I'm really excited about this. Now, what you want to do is use your onion, but leave this part to put back in the soil. Once I cut this off, I put it back in the soil like I did these. And as you can see, these are coming back again. This is my third harvest of growing green onions. And so all summer long, I've been having fresh onions. And these are growing food from food scraps. So this is my green onion, my Yukon potatoes. And I'm very excited about the second attempt was successful. The first attempt wasn't. The correction I made again was made sure that I had an inch to a half an inch to an inch of sprouts on the potatoes, and I hardened it off with sulfur. I think the rainwater that occurred during the first 2 weeks of August really helped the plant. The second week of August, after 2 weeks of rain, my Yukon potato started emerging and growing profusely. And so I'm really excited about this project. I'm excited about the success of my second attempt. And again, I have about another month to 6 weeks. It takes about 90 to 120 days for potatoes to mature. This is about 60 days. So probably about early August, I will look to see if the plant's flowered, if it's turning yellow and drooping. And I'm going to invite you to see when I dump the pot, how successful will I be in growing Yukon potatoes. Thank you for joining me. And if you like, please like and subscribe. Thanks again. Bye-bye.